Good day, everybody. So now that I got the whole proverbial news onslaught of news blurbs and stuff like that out, I wanted to cover the main topic that I wanted to talk about this week. Because this channel is not going to be covering. It's going to be covering things that might not get on the radar so high. Um, there was a lot of big furry news this week. A lot of them that you would probably see in your main timelines and things like that, things of importance that you would see and a lot of people know about, such as the Sonic Fox winning Game of the Year or Esports Player of the Year. You know, the MFF getting 10,000, breaking the five digits with a over 10,000 record of furry attendees. Things like that are kind of mainstream and larger. But I don't think it was really the most sort of important piece of news or the most interesting piece of news to happen over the last few weeks. That one to me goes to a particular conflict that sort of slipped under the radar, and the fact that it slipped under the radar is quite interesting as well. So there was this all starts with a article that was posted on Dogpatch Press about yet another business. We've covered one before, which was the Midwest Furfest organization. This one is a different enterprise, led by one treble Corgi, called Corgi Events LLC, a limited liability company. The idea behind Corgi Events LLC is to make a for-profit organization dealing with furry convention organization. Now, this is something that is quite unique in that a lot of furry conventions that run their convention space run under what's called a non-profit organization, as opposed to a limited liability company or incorporation or any of those for-profit company words. So the fact that we have an organization trying to get into the for-profit segment shows that there is quite a idea of how furry cons are starting to become a big enough thing where individuals are starting to go, well, maybe we could do this for a living as opposed to just like having a full-time job and then doing this as sort of a side project, which is a big and major thing. And obviously there are some people out there who would love to embrace something like that at full cost. Obviously there are little reasons that, furries have been kind of hesitant to do so. Most likely is liabilities. Issues like if you were a for-profit organization, it is very ethically dubious and not illegal in many states to have volunteers on your staff, which is volunteers on a staff are very much a quintessential thing for most furry conventions, is that people take their time, and effort and provide free services to the convention itself. Free as in maybe they'll give you some free meals or some stuff, but they won't give you money. They won't give you cash money. You're not doing it for an hourly wage. It makes bookkeeping a little bit easier, but at the same time, obviously, volunteers are volunteers. They can come and go as they please, and it makes it a little harder to organize as far as human resources thing goes. So, the interesting thing is that there was this Corgi LLC, and the Dogpatch article had Papa Bear, a grizzly Papa Bear guy, who runs a sort of like a website or a nonfiction sort of interviewish style of website. He sometimes writes some articles for Dogpatch Press every once in a while, and he did an interview with this guy. And they talked about the differences between the for-profit model and the not-for-profit model. And one of the most interesting quotes from Treble, the Corgi here, was that in a for-profit, furries get a little wary about for-profits because they might take the money and run, right? The idea of being somebody who has control over the finance and what is that person going to do with it, and having that power, in a not-for-profit, you don't have to worry about somebody taking the money and running because making a profit off of the convention is illegal. because it has to basically even the books every year, or just pay, just maintain itself. It shouldn't be worrying about other people's pocketbooks so much. But interesting, like he said that, because this is where the sort of dominoes come into play. And the reason that this one kind of fell under the radar in furrydom, I think, is because it is a very complicated subject matter and a lot of moving parts and a lot of different things happening at the same time, where when you make the connections between them all happening at the same time, you can kind of see the very big implications that it has. So, right around the time that article was published, Lemonbrat had let Treble go from their organization. Lemonbrat is a sort of a dealer that deals in kigurumis and like costume bits for furrydom. They also do somewhat fursuit kind of things. Lemonbrat made a post on December 3rd, right when Midwest Furfest was going on, that as of Wednesday, November 28th, and by the way, the original article for the Dog Patch article that came out with the interview for Treble came out on the 29th. So, but this announcement that he was let go from Lemonbrat on the 28th wasn't released until December 3rd. See how dates are weird, man. Okay, so this came after the interview. This announcement that the day prior to the article interview being released on Dog Patch, Lemonbrat let go of Corey Wood, aka Treble, that he was no longer working for Lemonbrat. Says if you had contact for orders and have inquiries about your order, please contact us directly at lemonbrat@gmail.com or contact Bits via Telegram. So basically, the guy who is the head of Corgi Events LLC, was a financial manager for Lemonbrat, this furry merch and fursuit designer group, and was an employee of Lemonbrat since about 2013. How do we know this? Well, unfortunately, the separation of these two particular groups or two particular individuals in the furry fandom was not one that was of niceties. As an article released just soon, right around that time, from a website that talks about lawsuits and other things like that, we have Lemonbrat alleges financial manager of diverting more than $40,000 in funds. So in this particular lawsuit, Lemonbrat's corporation alleges their financial manager, who is Corey Wood Treble, of diverting more than $40,000 in funds using, and what it seems like the article indicates that it was using a sort of Square account where Treble would have contact with the customers, Lemonbrat's customers directly, and was supposed to be helping sell product as their financial manager. I don't know why. I don't know why you would have your financial manager like actually coercing with customers and trying to sell product, because it's not really a financial manager's job, in my opinion. But, I guess, a small group and a small company is going to work with what they got, right? Usually a financial manager is somebody who doesn't handle the money and customers directly. Usually they're people that, deal with the money that comes in, the money that goes out, and tries to make sure that they're managed properly. At least from my thought, that's usually what I think the financial manager does. But, the weird thing about titles in this world is that people are given a title, and sometimes they do work beyond what their title indicates sometimes, particularly in small businesses. You have to wear many hats even outside of your own sort of jurisdiction. But why he was taking charges on a Square account for his own money or taking it into his own thing, I don't know, or why they would put him in a position where he could do that, I don't know. But so basically the lawsuit wants access to that information to find out how much money has been diverted and things like that. They accuse him of about $40,000 worth and other such accusations. You can read more about it in the article below. So that being said, so here we have these things. Now, the interesting thing, though, is that Corgi LLC is quite this Treble guy has his hand in a lot of pies in the furry fandom. He's not just in Lemonbrat. Lemonbrat wasn't his only go-to. Obviously, we talked about his foray into furry convention organization and things such as this. So what many people don't know is that he's got a lot of them out west, particularly in areas that were hit hard by some of the stuff that I had talked about earlier with other conventions, such as Rocky Mountain Fur Con and Califer, and the issues that they had dealing with basically individuals causing security prices to increase like crazy by being vigilant and angry and threatening violence against the convention. A lot of the conventions that Corgi LLC started to create and were creating are those conventions that took place in those areas, such as DenFur, which was for Rocky Mountain Fur Con. And this next one, which we're going to talk about right now, is Golden State Fur Con. Golden State Fur Con, which takes place right now, is having its premiere year next year. Takes place in the same region and area that Califer took place in. And obviously Califer right now is sort of up in the air. They had a year hiatus, but who knows if they'll be back next year. We haven't had any word as to whether or not Califer will be back next year. But if it isn't, then obviously the Golden State Fur Con will take its place. So, that being said, they released a statement not too far after the Lemonbrat article came out, in which they made a statement of that the chairman, Treble, is resigning his position being ConChair of these things of Corgi LLC events, such as Golden State Fur Con. But mostly this one's just covering Golden State Fur Con. And how the individual named Bubbles, who is their sort of vice chair, will be taking his place while he deals with these personal issues, of which he does not really discuss or go into detail as to what those personal issues are, which has to do with that lawsuit that I talked about earlier. So, as we can see, that is something that is going on. And so, that has impacted those particular convention spaces. Treble's Twitter account also states that he has hands in other pies, such as the furry YouTube sector. And particularly, he acts as a financial manager for some pretty large furry YouTubers who make some money, who actually make some cheddar off of their furry type YouTube activities. Particularly, one of the highlighted ones on his Twitter account indicated that he is a financial manager for Majira Strawberry and other such things. So he as a financial manager has gotten his hands in quite a bit of pies. So to me, this is why this kind of news story is very important. It does cover, this lawsuit is a very, very big, like sort of brouhaha coming down on the furry lines, which a lot of people haven't been talking about because, as I said, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different things here. But more importantly is that neither side has made a stink of it, which is how you know it's going to be one to watch. How it's going to be one that is very much a very serious accusation and very much a very serious implications coming down the line. That this is actually kind of very serious. Both of them know that their reputations are on the line, and that, that this is a very serious accusation, and that one individual, the Corgi LLC, is distancing himself from some of his other properties in order to try and protect those properties, which is very probably good advice considering how serious the accusation is, particularly when dealing with money management. Lemonbrat is being very quiet as well, particularly since they filed the suit and they want to make sure that they're not going to overplay their hand or show their hand to, how they know and what evidence they have that this individual had wronged them and things such as that. is very much not playing out in the public sphere. And the fact that it isn't playing out in the public sphere shows that this court case is very much going to be one that we want to keep an eye on, and is very much going to have social repercussions throughout, like, the fandom. Like, I think that it was wise of the Corgi to kind of step back from his own convention organizations, because being accused by an artist of taking their funds from them could have very serious implications when it comes to trying to attract artists and dealers to his own organization's dealers' dens. So separating himself from that can help him in that essence. So it very much is going to be interesting to see what happens with this case and how it plays out, and sort of what will happen with Corgi LLC or Lemonbrat as a result of the court decision, whichever way it decides to go to. So we'll keep an eye on that for you, and we'll have some updates for you whenever we get the opportunity. But in this case, it's one of those things where we have to wait to see what comes out of it as to whether these accusations are true or not. Because Lemonbrat's putting a lot on the line too. If Lemonbrat fails in their lawsuit against Corgi LLC, could Corgi LLC then go and try to take damages from Lemonbrat for trying to, to try and put damages on their name and put damages on their organization, and things like that. Those are very much things in the back of people's minds as these two go into their court case in the future. But anyways, we'll see what happens with it. But for now, we're going to get the hop out of here. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you again back here next time. Make sure you kick that like, kick the subscribe button, kick a comment in the comment section on how you think this might play out, or any of your opinions on that. So anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.